Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here, Area 51. So close to painting this thing, I can smell it. Actually, I can just smell the overspray, that kind of fumes that made it up into the house during last week's priming episode. But yeah, so let's get at it. Got a little bit more prep to do, sanding and stuff. And as I mentioned in the last video, a little bit of touch up to do on my seam sealer. It's actually just kind of sealed, but it just is a little bit messy, so I'll get ahead and do that. So let's get at it anyway. Okay, so there's just a couple of bits in this drip rail that I didn't really kind of get my seam sealer in satisfactorily, if you know what I'm saying. Remind that racket, that's just the wash machine. So there's a couple of little touch-ups I've just got to do. A bit more than I thought there was going to be fair. Alright, I'm going to look around the other side and see what I missed around there too. It's really just in the drip rail. I'm not too worried about in the door jambs. I think that's all pretty good. Good enough anyways, it'll be alright, but yeah, I just want to get that drip rail kind of fully sealed up. Okay, so just used a little oxen sable lettering brush to kind of get into that little touching up that seam sealer. I think I got everything this time, but just there's a few little bits that were a little bit gappy down in here. I just wanted to get a fairly neat kind of fill those things in, and there's a couple of bits up underneath that where once you kind of got a nice even primer coat and that on there, you could kind of see like weird little kind of holidays and gaps and things like that, which I thought I'll just seam seal him. Caulking style probably would have been better in hindsight for all of this, but like I said when I did it, I haven't got any, so just using what I got for now. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a bit of a guide coat over the whole, everything that's got to be sanded. For my guide coat, I'm actually just going to use like a 1K primer. I'll chuck a little bit of extra black in it, just it's easier to sand. You know, I know people use powders and stuff like that, but I'm just going to like dust over this. I can see generally sometimes blemishes and stuff when I'm just sanding normal primer. You can kind of see it, but after a day of it you can't see anything. So I'll just tint up a little bit of 1K Dulon, dust that around the whole car and everything that's got to be sanded, and yeah, we'll just start sanding. Awesome, got my lucky sanding hat on, so we're good to go. Okay, so that's my guide coat kind of blown over there. My spray gun that I use for that is it's just been sitting with primer in it for a few weeks, and it's just a 1K primer, but my air hole must have been blocked up, so I kind of blew it back through the gun, and then boy did she let go when I got over there. But these will be alright. There's enough of it on here that I'll be able to see. I'll grab a little bit of sandy paper and show you. Hopefully the light's a bit better. So you can sort of see where I've kind of been and where I haven't, hopefully. So that's hopefully enough for me to be able to kind of see where I'm going. So time to get the old garage back out and the blocks and start blocking this stuff down. I'm going to start on these front fenders. Actually, I might do the inside parts first that I've got to do by hand, and then yeah, then we'll start on the main body of the car. Exciting stuff, hey? That's just the 1K premium filler. It's old school 1K primer, so shrinks back a lot. That's why I didn't use it on this particular build, and I just chucked a little bit of Cobra that I had left over in there to darken it up just a touch. That Cobra is an old paint system again. I don't even know if you can get that anymore. You can still get Dulon and stuff like that, but Cobra was a base coat clear coat system, so it had like a 1K base but a 2K clear. It was all the rage about 30 years ago. but yeah, no one really seems to use it anymore. So anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, so you've probably seen me using a bit of Scotch-Brite. This is the first build I've ever used Scotch-Brite on, alright? So I don't know whether I'm using it in the right places or not, but I kind of quite like it for kind of getting the edges and stuff like that, and the kind of tight radiuses and stuff. Just to kind of put a bit of a key on it without taking too much material off, because I always find it super easy to just sand through the edges like this, and next thing you're down to metal, like I did right there. And I'm trying to minimise the amount of spot priming I've got to do, so these kind of weird little areas like that, and just kind of run down them with the old, this is just some red Scotch-Brite. Same with this kind of front edge here. I did give it a little bit of a light sand, looking for pinholes and stuff, but I think I've got them all. On the whole, I haven't really found anything. A couple of little low spots in here, but this is all covered by the grill, so I wasn't really particularly worried about that. Nothing, oh, there's a little bit of a bit under this lip over here, over there, that I found, but it just needed a little more sanding. It's going to need a little spot prime now because I've sanded into the filler. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing, is sanding, bit of scotchy, bit of hand stuff. You know, like some people have a massive variety of different blocks and they use blocks on everything. I was kind of taught different, and I know, like, I'm not perfect. I don't do perfect paint jobs where there's no ripples or nothing like that. You know, that's where all the blocks come into it. But I was kind of shown a few things by an old spray painter slash coach builder back in the day, and they used blocks, small blocks, especially on straight vehicles. If they would use longer blocks when they were doing repairs and stuff, but getting around curves and stuff like this, using the kind of heel of your hand and using that kind of as your block, and not just necessarily running in straight lines but circles and then diagonals, and then it's kind of all over the shop. But I don't know whether that's the right way to go, but it's sort of, for me anyway, it works in kind of, you know, weird areas like this where you try to get a block in and you end up just digging grooves, whereas you can get, like, you know, like rounded blocks and things like that, but you know, just like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's, yeah, not going to be a SEMA car. That's what I've been saying all along. We'll just carry on. Okay, so lunchtime and I'm finished. Finished the guards and the fender skirts, like as far as the sandback. Now just going to go and give them a little bit of a spot prime. Cleaned out that darker version of the primer, and I've just got a few little rub throughs. I'll just give them a little zip here and there. On the whole, not too bad. One of the skirts was a little bit more sandy, scratchy marks and that than I thought it would be, but it must have been that one that was kind of a bit more ripply. I can't remember now which is which, but yeah, a couple of little rub throughs here and there. I'll just give them a quick spot prime, then go and have some lunch, and then that lots more sanding. Lunchtime. Okay, lunch has been eaten. It was good, thanks. Made myself a couple of Sammies. Like it. Got a rowdy lawnmower. Anyway, made myself a couple of Sammies and a coffee and back at it. So, gonna hit this. More time lapse for you guys. So, let's get at it. Okay, so sanding, exciting stuff. Since sanding is so not really riveting sort of YouTube entertainment, I thought I would stop and ask a question. It's like I'm listening to some music on my headphones, and it sort of got me thinking. It's like, what are the people who follow DMAC Customs listen to? So here's a question for you. What do you guys listen to when you're in the garage working on your ride, your rig, your whip? So like today, my choice is I'm listening to a Canadian bluegrass band called the Dead South. You may have heard me mention them a couple of months ago. We went up to Auckland and watched them in concert, and it was really, really, really good. And I haven't actually listened to them since. So I'm giving them a good thrash today. And yeah, if you had said to me 20 years ago I'd be listening to banjos and violins and shit, I would have told you were mad, you know, had to have screaming guitars and things like that. But I still listen to that stuff. But, you know, anything from, you know, the Yardbirds to Pantera to AC/DC to whatever, I listen to all sorts of music. But recently I've been listening to kind of, as my wife calls it, that hillbilly shit. What's wrong with you? But yeah, so there's that there. Let us know down in the comments, what do you guys listen to, you know, when you're mucking around on your stuff, if you listen to anything at all. Some people listen to podcasts and that, not really my jam, but music, love it. So anyway, carry on. Door done, might carry on with the sills and get that quarter done, and then get up onto the bonnet. Just work my way half of the car at a time. So let's go. Quarter panel done. Okay, so where are we at? Looks like it's all done, but it's not. I'm only just over halfway. Still got to do all down this side. I've done the whole bonnet, hood, all that thing. So now we just got to get down this side. So I'll probably just shoot ahead and do that. You've seen enough of me sanding, I imagine. I would like to do the jams, paint the jams in this go round sort of thing. So it's getting late in the day, so I might just keep on trucking and just get sanding. But on the music front, did you put some comments down there and let me know what your music jam is when you're in the shed or in the garage or driving in your car or whatever. But anyway, I've been listening to, as I said earlier, the Dead South all day and with Spotify, you know, the music app, and it kind of must have finished the old Dead South's playlist sort of thing. So it started playing me a whole bunch of other stuff, some really quite interesting things. A band called the Sean James Band, quite a big drumming sounded band. So there's a little bit of, you know, something. Maybe go and listen to that. There's a couple of songs that have come through on the shuffle, so they've been quite cool. So I might make a note of them, the Sean James Band, and maybe listen to a little more of it. It's a little bit kind of rockier, but kind of almost, I don't know, like, go and have a listen. But anyway, charge ahead, keep sanding, and hopefully see you tomorrow, and this will be all sanded and just ready for a spot prime and dust down and remask a few bits and bobs, and get the jams done, and these inner guard bits, the inside bits, the tricky to get to bits when it's on the car. So I'll carry on. See you tomorrow. Morning, campers. Right, next day. First up, I've just been doing a bit of vacuuming and that, trying to eliminate some of the dust. But before I go too much further, I'm going to spray a little bit of spot prime around the rub throughs and whatnot, around the body. Guards are already kind of ready to go, and fender skirts kind of the same. And yeah, then we'll probably pull some of the masking, not all of it, but I'll pull some of it, touch up some of it. All the stuff in the floor, in the boot floor, I'll pull all that out because that's just harbouring a bunch of dust. Remask some of it, and then we might spray the jams. Yeah, just put some colour in those, so when we come to paint the rest of the car, the jams are all kind of, don't have to mess around with doors opening and closing and things like that. We'll just kind of set them in place and then just blow past it and melt in the blend, if that makes sense. So let's get at it. Spot priming. So, I've been running through this process in my head like all night, sort of thing, of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. It's actually more than all night, like for weeks. Initially I was just going to like paint the car, doors open, close the doors, carry on painting the car. But I decided I'll paint the jams and the kind of inner arches and stuff like that, because I've got to put I've got to hang the skirts up. Got to put the skirts up on to kind of paint the car, so I kind of need to kind of paint the finicky bits before I do those, if that makes sense. Possibly, I don't know if it's going to matter that much, but yeah, so I'm pretty much ready to go. Just got to mix up some paint, final kind of whip round with a tack rag and just yeah, blow it over, really. Blow some colour into the jams and into the boot jam, and a little bit on the top of the firewall there, and then do these bits and this kind of inner bit of the arch. It'll be hard for me to get to when it's back on the car. different bits like here, because these I want to paint areas like this because the fender brace thing kind of sits on top of it, so I'll do that and we'll bolt all the guards and that back on to paint the car and kind of get them up and get them kind of right so they don't come back off again, if that makes sense, hopefully. Okay, so anyway, I'll get some paint out, mix it up, and then see where we go from there. Alright, so ready to go. Been around and tack ragged all my door jambs and stuff and kind of, you know, de-dusted as much as I can really hope for, and yeah, other than like doing the whole make a booth and spray the floor with water, which I've never done before actually, but because I always sort of mainly work with Dewline. Dewline absorbs moisture and humidity, you know. I never saw the sense in like putting heaps more water into the equation, but anyway, that's just me. I'm probably the only one who doesn't think the normal way, but yeah, so mixed up some paint. I'll start with some of the hidden areas and see how the spray gun goes on this go round. I've learned a little bit hopefully since I last used it. Let's go. Fresh rags. Done about 4 coats on all the jam stuff with the colour. Next up, just going to blow a few coats of clear over it just to sort of lock it in. Seems to be going alright so far. Not too much crap in the paint, finding a few pinholes and flaws and stuff, but it's all this jammy sort of shit around the edges and stuff I kind of probably should have spent a day kind of really targeting those areas, like, you know, like that there's a couple of bits over there. I'm not that fussed about it, to be fair. Driver quality cop out, yeah, I know, but hey, I'm using filters, so that's a first, or not a first, but you know, it's a rarity for me. But yeah, so seems to be going all right. I'm gonna get just about set up to start blowing the clear. Just gonna put the lid on the gun and get at it. Okay, so might have left the camera running, I don't know. The SD card seems a little full when it wasn't earlier. Anywho, that's all the clear on all the jams and stuff. Overall, kind of went okay. I forgot to put my door stoppers back in, so the door connected down in the bottom corner there, which is a pain, unfortunately, on both doors. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm not too fussed again about that sort of thing. Most of it came out alright. Little, you know, obviously little misses and shit like that I missed. And but down by the boot lid, there's sanding scratches and through here as well. But what did I do that down to? 320? But yeah, maybe I didn't. Maybe because some of the other stuff's fine. It's like maybe I kind of like went through that with 240, forgot to go back with the 320, or maybe 320 is still a bit harsh for this particular paint. You know, it's quite thin, quite fine, and I kind of stuck with, I didn't go any finer than 320 because this is a 2K primer with a 1K kind of colour, and I didn't want it to have any problems adhering to the primer, so I kind of left it a little coarser, but might be a little too coarse. I might end up going over, you know, just going over the main body of the car before we paint it with something a little finer, even, you know, just a grey Scotch Brite or something like that, you know, just take it down just a tiny scotch more. I've still got to go down and sort of trim these, you know, smooth these bits out that where I spot primed earlier today. But yeah, so that's it for today. Well, that's it for this video, because I want to leave this to all harden up nice and hard during the week, so I can bolt it back up on here without risk of kind of, and I've got to unmask this front part and remask it and stuff like that. So I kind of want to let that harden up, so I don't kind of just start, you know, banging around on soft paint as I normally would. But yeah, that's all right. Like, yeah, I got a run down there, and then I tried to do the masking tape thing, and I just made a mess. So, but again, doesn't matter. It's in the boot lip. It's like, You know, it's, like I said many times, this is not going to be your typical shiny hot rod lead sled type of thing. I've got plans for a kind of a different look. Well, not a different look, it's a kind of faux patina sort of look, but it's whether I pull it off or not. If I can't pull it off to the level or the look that I want, then it might end up a shiny hot rod. And yeah, but so it's kind of why I've been trying to get it as straight as I can with my experience and my eyeballs. Yeah, which, you know, once you get a bit of shiny shit on things, man, it's not that straight. So, yeah, might end up flat black yet. You never know. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm gonna pop my ears. We're on the Instagram, on the Facebook, on the YouTube right here. Dave here, DMAC Customs, and yeah, go and have a look at those. Links are in the description. Like, share, comment. As I said earlier in the video, let us know what your kind of music tastes and stuff are that you jam out to and when you're working on your cars. I listen to all sorts of stuff. Yesterday just happened to be the Dead South, and then a whole menagerie of stuff that Spotify was throwing at me, and some of it was really quite cool, so I really should make a note of some of the ones I liked. But yeah, so till next time, take it easy and peace. So yeah, hopefully this works.